James, thank you very much for your time. It's such a beautiful yard, this. There's so much history involved in Pegasus Stables. We're actually in a newer yard. But let's go back to the start if we can. How did you come to being here at Newmarket?
Well, I had sort of jumping background. My uncle was David Nicholson and he was champion jumps trainer. And initially when I left school, I went into George Fairbairn in Northumberland. I had a year with Josh Gifford for Audarya when he won the Grand National in '81. And then I had a summer in Newmarket, and it was very different, and I loved it so much with Sir Michael Stout, and I've been here ever since.
That's some early CV, being involved in the champion story, and then with Sir Michael as, you know, an early lad. But even before then, am I right in thinking that you were at school at Stowe with Michael Bell, so you were two young kids mischievously studying the form in lessons?
Yeah, well, we had, and your dad was there as well. He was in charge of sort of the theatre and stuff. And but Michael and I were in the same economics and politics A-level set, and we had a very left-wing tutor, and he loved his racing. And Michael and I were doing the same course, and the only difference was I was 17 and Michael was 20.
That sounds about right. So it was always in your blood, in your heart to become a trainer. And how did you end up here at Pegasus?
Well, actually, it was the riding side. I think when you're at school, you know, you're more thinking about in those days you're going to be the next John Frankham or the next John Joe or something like that, and then you have a few falls and you're not good enough, and you get back to reality very soon. But I always enjoyed the sort of background side of things, you know, the training and the actual sort of horsemanship of it, you know, looking after the horses. And luckily I went to some really good teachers, you know. Liz Fairbairn was great, and then at Gifford's was great, that Audarya year. And 7 years with Sir Michael was a great education. And I got this yard, actually the lease came up on it in 88, and Michael said, you want to get that. So I listened, and probably didn't give me much choice either in the matter. So, and we got a lease on it. And I managed to negotiate 7 years with the landlord, and unfortunately he died quite soon afterwards. And we trained the winner of the Eclipse, beating Sir Michael with Environment Friend, and then I was able to buy it. So we were able to buy it.
My name is Glenn Williams. I'm a work rider, and I've been here for 18 months.
I'm Ryan Holly. I've been here 2 months and I'm a head lad.
And I'm Claire Mackay, and I'm the secretary, and I help Jacko run the Fred Archer Racing Syndicates. I've been here 2.5 years. It's a pleasure to work here. It's a nice historic stable. The Fred Archer Syndicates bring a lot of fun into the yard, and we really enjoy working here.
Can you give us an insight, one of you, into sort of a normal morning for you in terms of times you're up, when you're first on a horse, etc.?
It's quite a long day. We normally start at 5ish. We're here. First lot's normally 6 o'clock, and then we're usually finishing up by 11:30, and then back here again at 4 till 6 in the evening.
Typically ride 3 or 4, depending how busy we are, depending on how many runners we've got. If you ride 3, you normally finish at about 11 o'clock. If you ride 4, you normally finish for 12ish, but they're pretty quick, so the mornings aren't too slow.
What's it like when obviously James has had so many good horses, he had Group 1 success recently, but when you're on a very good horse in the morning, how does that feel?
It's always nice to ride a good one. Obviously, it's also nice to ride ones that aren't so good, because you can always sort of bring them on. Obviously, when you're sat on a nice one, it always makes the job a bit easier, you know?
Yeah.
Is that one, in all seriousness though, obviously most people hear about the very good ones, but the ones that you see progress from on whatever level must be, in terms of job satisfaction, pretty high for you guys.
Yeah, definitely. That's what you want to do. If you ride a horse every day, and even if it's winning at a lower level, you feel you've achieved something by that. And
Claire, more of the top level horses, the likes of the Tin Man, etc., have been involved in the Fred Archer Syndicate. Fred Archer, a name synonymous with racing. How much of a buzz is there around the yard when horses like that compete?
There's a big buzz, but there's a lot of anticipation, sort of the week leading up to the race. I ride the Tin Man every day, so I'm very privileged, and it's not lost on me how lucky I am to be on a horse like that. But it's quite a long week when he's running at the end of it.
To feel the pressure. Yeah.
So you're in the office answering the phones, helping out with the entries, etc., sorting the syndicates out, and riding out as well?
Yeah, so I ride first and second lot, and then I work for the rest of the day in the office with Janet. We don't really have a super high turnover of staff. People that come here seem to stay a while.
Yeah, when you come here, you normally stay.
There's so much history here. For those that don't know, what is the history attached to this yard?
Well,
we're in the newer yard.
You're in the newer. The front yard here was built by Fred Archer, and in 1884 he'd been champion jockey every year since 1876, I think, until he died in 1886. So I think he was sort of champion jockey 10 years in a row. I think he won the Derby 5 times. But his main patron was Lord Falmouth, and he told him to put his money in bricks and mortar. And this yard is what he built. In some ways it's brilliant because it's so beautiful, but in other ways it's very expensive to maintain, and also everything you build, you have to sort of try and sort of keep it. Well, from my conscience point of view is try and keep it in keeping in with how Fred would like it, you know. So if he's wandering about at the middle of the night, he'd say, "Oh yeah, that's not too bad, that yard."
Yeah, so it's a bit like Grand Designs. You've got to match up to what Fred's vision was back then with your vision now.
Yeah.
Well, you're doing a very good job, not only with the building work, but also with the training. And you've had such a long and illustrious career. What do you think the secret to your success has been?
I think. Well, luckily, I've worked for some really good people. That's great, and always had that bit of hope, because you never know what's around the corner. You can have a dreadful time. You know, if you told me 2 weeks before Audarya won the Prix Romane that we were going to win a Group 1, I would have thought you're mad. And that's the whole thing about the game. You just never quite know what's around the corner. So you keep on being patient. Don't break your rules. Don't try and follow whoever's doing well, and enjoy it.
What is the plan with Audarya? That was tremendous. That's another Group 1 for you. Seems that you don't go a season without a Group 1 winner. It's a remarkable achievement.
Well, she was great, because she's always what you quite often find at the sales. You go and buy a horse that you probably go and spend too much money on, and you love it, and it's your favourite. And when it's slow, you can't believe it. You know, it's how could dare that horse you love so much be slow? But it happens, and so you always bias. But I always had it in the back of my mind. She was a really nice filly, and we won the race twice before. So it's always it's always a race that's in the back of your mind to aim at. And we'd sort of try to get a confidence back by going to Newcastle, and it worked, and everything fell into place. So hopefully she can keep on an upward curve, because we're going to aim for the Opera on October the 4th.
Amazing. Art weekend.
Yeah.
That's terrific. Now, something that many people who are watching this might not know is that, one, the bell's gone, so I don't have much left longer with you. But secondly, your wife, we've talked about Grand Designs with your building work, but your wife is an unbelievable baker, isn't she? To the point where Great British Bake Off is regularly discussed about entering into that. If you were an owner coming into the yard, do you get a Jacko Fanshawe cake?
There have been quite a few handed out, not just to owners. There's been to other trainers, or people who have done us a favour. Or
they don't need them.
And when there's been a dodgy one, it might have been given to someone she doesn't quite like so much. So.
Fantastic.
But Tom Fanshawe and I, every morning we get the freshly baked loaf of sourdough. Jacko's favourite line is, "I think this is my best yet," and same as training your horses.
Same methodology.
But I'm jolly glad she does it, because at least we've got some bread, and it's been great.
Yeah, and it just shows what a terrific family setup you've got here, and you're doing a great job. James, thanks for your time.
Great, thanks, Ollie. Thank you.